This world is all kinds of absurd, but this this was not one of the things I was expecting. Teacher suing for $40 million after being shot by her 6-year-old student testifies in civil trial. what what world are we in? What world are we in that we let our 6-year-olds carry blickies and decide maybe it's a good time for them to learn? You know, as if teachers weren't already in danger enough with losing their jobs and having to worry about where their next paycheck comes. This is the last thing they need besides another quote unquote school event. And I'm not talking about school events that are lined up, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it goes on to read. A teacher suing for $40 million after her then 6-year-old student shot her in her classroom in 2023 testified during her civil trial on Thursday that she wasn't sure if that child had a real gun until he pulled it out of his pocket and fired it at her. Abby Zwerner recounted the day she was shot in January 2023 in Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, as the last witness for the plaintiff in the ongoing trial. Now, I will say, I always assume that schools are supposed to have some kind of security. It's not just a matter of like, oh, we're just keeping the children safe. Like, it's one of those things where it's very iffy. It's very iffy, and it makes me speechless every day that we're letting stuff like this happen. It is unfortunate. Like, regulating firearms is one thing. Keeping firearms out of the hands of the children is a whole different case. And it does go on to say, complaint alleges the school's assistant principal at the time, Ebony Parker, failed to act after being informed multiple times that the student had a firearm on the day of the incident and did not let anyone search him prior to the shooting despite repeated requests. Zerner testified she first became aware the student, who is being referred to during the trial as JT, might have had a gun that day was from a reading specialist in the school. The staffer Amy Kovac had testified earlier this week that 2 students told her JT had a gun in his backpack, and she reported this to Parker. Quote, I knew that she was going to tell Dr. Parker, end quote. Zerner said of Kovac, when asked by her attorney why she didn't tell Parker herself about a reported gun in the student's backpack. So effectively, I'm being told that 2 teachers have basically talked between one another and have told said assistant principal, and that assistant principal hasn't done anything. What the? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what the? There's a reason why there's a system, cause stuff needs to be looked into. Come on, man. Come on. Like, at least let, I don't know, somebody look into it. Jesus. That's how you avoid having situations like this. What happened to that? Does this school not even have security? What the? And I'm gonna read the next part. Let's read the next part. Let's see what happens. Kovac had testified that she searched JT's backpack during recess but didn't find a gun, which she said she suspected would be the case based on Zerner's text, and she reported this to Parker. As for the defense asking on Thursday if there was at any point she didn't think JT had a real gun, Zerner said, the whole day I was contemplating it. It could be real, it could not be real. But when you hear the word he told the students he brought a gun with him to school, there is that possibility. End quote. But Zerner said she realized that the student had brought a real gun after recess towards the end of the school day. He took it out of his pocket and shot her, by which it went through her left hand and into her chest, where it remains. She initially was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries, police said. Y'all have to realize that This is just ridiculous. A 6-year-old basically shot a teacher in the classroom right at the end of the day and decided that was a good idea. And mind you, they let everybody else know and nothing happens. What the? This is frustrating to me, but I'm gonna continue with this BS anyways. The civil complaint alleges Parker acted with gross negligence and in reckless disregard for Zerner's safety. During the cross-examination on Thursday, the defense repeatedly questioned the actions Zerner did or didn't take on that day of the shooting. Zerner confirmed she did not speak to the two students who reported the gun to both JT and Parker, saying she knew Kovac had spoken to them. Quote, I trusted Miss Kovac. She has over 20 to 30 years of teaching experience over my 2.5 years of teaching experience, Zerner said. Zerner also confirmed that she did not remove JT from her classroom or search his backpack. You know, they do have a couple of points there where she could have literally just taken them out of the classroom and then proceeded to search them because it is her classroom, so she would have had every right to. But you never know. 6-year-olds are very unpredictable. You never know what they're gonna do. I mean, when I was that age, I basically kicked an assistant principal in the shin. But enough about me. That's a story for later, when I have to talk about it. But that is crazy. Sorry for the background noise. Yeah, there was a better way to handle that. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. There could have you could have done more. But I was the last place I was expecting a shooting at would be at a elementary school. Then again, everybody probably would have just not thought of it at all. And this is, I don't know, I feel like they just need either regulations or like you need an ID or I don't know, something, anything to regulate firearms to not be on, children's hands, because the youth cannot have these. Like, they can have it after 18, like, stuff like that after they're done with school, but or at least have, like, I don't know, a form of ID verification for them. Not that I support that at all, but at least, something, anything. I like my Second Amendment, don't get me wrong, but I feel like parents aren't parenting anymore, but I'm gonna go on to that tangent far later down this line. But it proceeds to say, following her testimony, the defense then argued into a motion to strike that the plaintiff had so far failed to establish Parker had an assumption of duty to protect Zerner from harm, so that she then allegedly breached through gross negligence. The judge responded that those are issues for the jury to decide and denied the motion. Quote, at this time, the jury finds that there is sufficient and credible evidence that the defendant assumed the duty of care, breached that care in a grossly negligent manner, and that breach was the proximate cause of the plaintiff's harm, end quote. Court Judge Matthew Hoffman said, end quote, that will be all for the jury to decide. The defense is scheduled to start calling its witnesses on Monday. In normal people terms, that means that essentially they have probable cause to basically charge the former assistant principal with gross negligence because they have let her know and nobody decided to do anything about it. And while, that's good and all, well, let's be honest here. No kid should have firearms. And so, my real question is, like, how in the hell did he even get into school with said firearm? Do they not have precautions or security? Because, I mean, I understand it, considering that it is in elementary school. A child should not be playing with a blicky. That's more like, you know, adult. That's that's something that no kid should ever even have to begin with. And just having to hear this is just horrifying on its own. That's like me waiting for my daughter to come home from school only for her to tell me, "Oh yeah, my friend gave me a shotgun. I want to try it out. Do you want to see it, father?" And I'm gonna be like, no." Like, you have to realize the absurdity of this. This is peak crazy, if I do say so myself. And I've seen crazy. I've seen it, and uh, this is this is horrible. This is horrible, and I, I I'm thinking there's at least a small bit of information left, so we'll blitz right on through it, and we'll talk more about this because this is beyond me, beyond whatever this is. Zerner and Parker both resigned following the shooting. Three other defendants initially listed in Zerner's complaint, two school administrators, and a new school board were dismissed from the lawsuit ahead of the civil trial. Parker has been charged with 8 counts of felony child abuse with disregard for life in connection with the shooting, 1 count for each bullet that was in the gun. According to the News Commonwealth Attorney's Office, a trial on the criminal charges is scheduled to start next month. The student brought the gun from home, police said. His home, Deja Taylor, was sentenced to 2 years in state prison for child neglect in connection with the shooting. Taylor was also sentenced to 21 months in prison on federal firearm and drug charges, which she has since served. So, reading all this and having to read this alongside with all of my viewers, this is insane. This is peak insanity. And the reason I say this is because, quite frankly, you don't scratch that. You see shootings take place. You see events like this take place, and yet we do nothing about them. We just let it happen. And when we let it happen, it means they can get away with it. And when they can get away with it, it means that, quite frankly, they'll be let off scot-free. And I am not for gun regulations. I love my Second Amendment, admittedly. But either these parents have to go, or they just shouldn't have kids in general. Seriously. Like, what? I'm sorry. This is very upsetting because, for me, right, I was a troublemaker. I caused headaches for my teachers when I was around that age. And I did everything I could to get in trouble, just to go home. And for me to hear about something like this is not just heartbreaking, considering that they may have had a hard life and had some tough shit to deal with, but it's also heartbreaking to hear because it's youth. It's the youth that will basically have to carry basically the future of humanity on their shoulders at some point in their lives. And I'm only 23. I'm just saying this from my perspective. Youth is so influenced by what we do that they tend to look up at people like anybody. They'll look at anybody and be like, that's my role model. I want to be just like them. And they take that and they will go to extreme lengths to prove that they're willing to be mature and willing to do whatever they can to be seen as mature. And having to read this is not just disappointing for me, but it's disappointing for a lot of people who may want to be parents, but they can't afford to be a parent. And by afford, I don't mean finances. I mean people who are willing to take time out of their day to not just lecture their children, not just to teach their children, but also to be responsible for their children. Because at the end of the day, children comes down to basically being a parent. It's basically a tiny version of yourself that you're looking after. And that person that you're looking after is a reflection of you, just that they're smaller, they're a lot younger, and they will be brought into the future, assuming that nothing else happens. And logically, right, you would think that people would essentially dictate their children how they themselves would be dictated, or at least disciplined or taught something, but not even that. Not even a shred of uh discipline shown in a lot of things nowadays. I personally feel like a lot of parents took it upon themselves just to work themselves into a stupor and have their children put into daycare or on their iPad, and that's it, and they call it a day. And while many families right now can't afford to basically be a parent and stay home and basically teach their children on how to do taxes, the youth are slipping. There's a good reason why there's a lot of people that are not going to have children. They see stuff like this, and then people are immediately deterred because they're afraid. They're scared. They're scared of what is going to happen to them outside of their own home. And that fear on its own is understandable, because at the end of the day, that's them. That's their children. Like, let's be honest. Not a whole lot of people care about the children. Politicians will tell you, oh yeah, we're doing this for the children. They're not doing it for the children, though. The government will try to basically tell you, we're doing it for the kids. We're trying to keep them safe. No, they're doing it for an ulterior motive. And we could see through that. Everybody can. They're not being legit. They don't care for our children. They haven't cared since the conception of a government. But I won't even speak on that. But I will speak on the fact that children are not just influenced by the people and by who they're around. They're also influenced by what kind of environment, and assuming that, you know, everything was going well at home is actually the opposite, especially for somebody like JT in this news article. JT seems to have had it rough, and for him to bring a blicky to school is just a whole nother level of trouble, especially in the world, because that means that this kid has probably been around some, not just insidious stuff, but probably has seen some of the worst things that some children around his age probably shouldn't be looking at. And I'm gonna wrap up this tangent because I know I do talk a lot when it comes down to all of this stuff. But I do want to say, if this has has interested you in any way, shape, or form, please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, talk to me about what you think on this matter. I really would like to hear your opinion on this. We'll be going back and forth, and quite frankly, we'll, be looking at all of this, see if, I don't know, see if you guys agree with me. But hey, if you guys, genuinely like my content and would like to keep up, I'm more than happy to. So that being said, Uh, with that being said, we'll see each other in the next one. And also, I'm leaving this in the end of the video because I did want you guys to know I am working on a project. It is a secret project. I will not say anything yet, but it is pretty it's pretty huge. It is actually towards something that I really like, that I really want you guys to see and watch it. Maybe you guys will like the content that I'm making on this secret project, and hopefully you guys can actually, um, you know, just take a peek at it for me. But with that being said, also I am very sorry about not being able to upload. This past week has been nuts. I've been working like crazy, barely getting time to upload, but me being up like at 6 in the morning and then having to make this video for like over 3 hours and commentating over it. It's been an endeavor, let me tell you that. But with that being said, I'll let you guys go. You guys can just uh, you guys can just watch the next video, see what I release, and I'ma see ya. Ciao.